Greetings. Welcome back to Beaver Branch Disc Golf Adventures. I'm Brian Morris, PDGA 16791, a member of Trilogy Talk team. Use code Morris22 to get 5% off anything over $30. Ships for free. Exclusive apparel options and unique discs. Check them out. Also, member of Team Trilogy. And today we have another Trilogy disc comparison review. Today we're going to be looking at the Keystone Latitude 64, and we're going to look at it. We're going to compare the retro Keystone to the Zero Soft, which I just recently obtained. You can get them at Trilogy Talk. The numbers on the Keystone are speed 2, glide 5, turn of -1, and a fade of 1. My question here is, because the Keystone has recently this year become my Circle 2 putter, Circle 2 and out. I am wondering if the Zero Soft Keystone is going to be more stable. We do know that the Zero Soft is obviously grippier. Maybe it can get into the ground and stop. So I use the Keystone for up shots, short turnover shots, straight shots, and then longer putts. Kind of has a similar kind of convex edge, similar to a dagger, without the bead, and has less stability. So let's check these out in the field and see if the soft Keystone can make the bag. All right, and here we have a look at the retro Keystone on the left and the Zero Soft on the right. Obviously, it's the same disc. One didn't seem domier than the other. And you can just check out their profile, that edge. Here is a Pure on the left, just to compare it. You can see that the wing there is more concave on the Pure and convex on the Keystone. Definitely a different feel in the hand. Similar trajectory. And here's a look at a dagger on the left next to the Keystone. You can see the big bead there, but has a similar outside edge. It's basically like the Keystone has obviously the no bead, but the dagger has the bead there. And we're going to start off with some hyzer shots. The Keystone is such a useful disc. I've recently started throwing more Keystones than Pures, although the Pure is still in the bag at times. My big question here was, is the Zero Soft going to be more stable than the retro, which I've kind of gotten used to throwing? And the answer to that question is not necessarily. Sometimes the soft plastics, particularly in the harp, will behave slightly more stable than the other plastics. But it didn't appear that way here. Also with the Pure, the soft Pure was a little bit more stable than the other Pures as well. Here's a look at the spread off of the hyzer lobs. And here we're going to go 70% on a hyzer release, trying to straighten it or flip it up. So 70% you can see continued on with the hyzer. And same amount of power here and pretty much the same result. So we're going to kick it up a notch, up to, I'm going to say 90%. And you can see it flip up, start to flip up, and then it definitely flips up and goes straight. So hyzer flips at the 90%. Don't know what that speed's going to be. I'm going to say it's probably around 45 to 50 miles per hour. One day I'll get my clock. Here's our first two shots on the left there, and the 90% shots off to the right. Maybe if I threw it at 80%, I'd be right on the pin. Here we're going to go flat release, retro first. Probably throwing these at about 70% as well. Here comes the Zero Soft. And you can see it begins to move to the right a little bit there, indicating it's not more stable than the retro. Now we're going to throw a few anhysers. Keystone's a nice anhyzer disc, kind of point and shoot the anhyzer, put it on the right angle, get it through the woods. Keystone is nice because it has a glide 5, floats in the air a little bit longer in comparison to, say, a pure. And you see that once you get it on that line, it just wants to continue along to the right. It is a putter after all, so it's probably not going to try to fade out too much. Here's a look at the spread on that. Everything's in the vicinity of the basket. And now we're going to move on to some putts. Starting here at 22 feet, just trying to look at the trajectory with the putt. It is a very straight putter, very similar to a pure. Simply has more glide, which is kind of what has made it a successful Circle 2. We are at 33 feet, or just outside. We're right at the beginning of Circle 2 with these shots, and moving on to 44 feet. So now sitting at 44 feet, you can see the trajectory and the glide that the Keystone has. And there's not really a difference between them. I will say that the Soft being more tactile or more grippy, definitely in the heat today, did play a role in how these were flying. Here I missed to the right twice, and then I tried to recalibrate and threw them both to the left. And again, you can see now we're at 66 feet, just trying to get a straight line and trying to paint the pole here. But this is the one where I recalibrate and I am a little bit off to the left on this. Now we throw some shots on a different hole. Knock one down, that's about a 60-footer. This was the only time that I noticed the Soft Keystone kind of hyzering out to the left a bit more on me, and it might have been because I was getting a little bit more spin with that grip. Here's a close-up look at the trajectory. So I didn't see too big of a difference here between the two. I like to use the grippier soft plastic in the wintertime almost exclusively. It also gets a little bit stiffer in the winter and very grippy, and using the retro during the summertime. That's all for this plastic comparison. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.